friends. Happy Wednesday and welcome to In the Loop with Winnie and Greg. I know Greg's got some good updates for us in just a moment. And those of you who are new to the show, I'm going to keep you posted on all things business finance. And of course, what makes our show so fun, I'm sure Greg's going to mention this later, is that you are part of our show. So do me a favor, take a moment, say hello in comments, wherever you're joining us from. Let us know how your day's going, how your week's going, and maybe even tell us how the weather's going because I'm here in Southern California. Let me just tell you, we're getting rain and snow. I know it's been a craziness, but it's been a lot of fun. Hello, friends. I'm Winnie Sun, longtime financial pro, CNBC council member, and Forbes contributor, and host of Level Up, which can also be found on NASDAQ and a few other platforms. But of course, who you really want to meet, who you really want to see, is the one and only Greg Nilberg. Greg, how you doing?
I am doing good. It is nice to see you too, Winnie. And, as you said, for everybody joining in too, I love that part of people saying hi wherever you're at. I'm seeing the comments, Sadiq, CrossX Fighter, like everybody who's joining in, wherever you are. Thanks for being a part of the show. And you mentioned the weather side of things. It is kind of crazy all over the place. So let us know what's going on, in your neighborhood. I'm getting some snow right now that's happening. It just started. So we'll see what it's like when I get out of here. But it's going to be interesting no matter what. But we have some fun things to talk about today. And I do have some rumor updates that we're going to kind of cover, some cool things with the NBA. We're going to talk about a new car thing. I'm just going to leave it at that. So you'll have to wait until we get to that point to find out about it. But some interesting tech updates that are going on. But as usual, in case you don't know, Greg Nibbler, longtime tech reporter. But yeah, it's just kind of crazy over here right now. And I'm really glad to be here on the show with you and having fun and talking about all these things and talking to everybody who's joining in. And of course, as you always do, you let us know what's going on with the market and what's happening there, which I know is just an entire wild world that I don't really know how to follow without you.
you're so kind, Greg. But yeah, rumor. Ooh, can't wait to hear what Greg has to say about rumor. That's gonna be exciting. Well, let me just kick it off, and of course, share with you that earlier before Greg and I joined you here live on Twitter, hashtag that was trending was stock market crash. So let's just start with that for a moment. Yesterday, the market was down almost 700 points. So not a great day for the markets, and today it didn't really improve. The Dow closed down 83 points. The Nasdaq gave us a slight positive, up 14, and the S&P 500 continued to be down 6 as well. One of the things that a lot of investors are paying attention to, and if you haven't, that's okay. That's why we're going to share this on the show, is what the Fed's going to be doing about inflation. So as you know, the Fed has been very, very clear. We pay too much for our eggs. We pay too much for our groceries. We pay too much for everything. And therefore, they recognize that they need to get prices down sooner than later, right? Sadiq knows, or we see Joshua here. Joshua knows. Well, today there was some announcement that was made that, in fact, while January 31st to the February 1st meeting did conclude with a smaller rate hike than we expected, inflation is still way above the Fed's 2% target rate. Can you imagine 2% inflation? We haven't been in that level in a very, very long time. But right now, it just seems like things are, even though a lot of layoffs continue to happen, there just continues to be a lot of pressure in terms of increases in wages and prices of goods. So you may have gotten a bonus at your job. Congratulations. Or a raise. Congratulations. That impacted inflation. And certainly, of course, you've seen things like the avian flu impacting the price of eggs and everything else. Everything has gone up in price. Unfortunately, not positive news in that front yet. And that's why you're seeing some of that pressure in the financial markets today. Now, other news I thought I would share with you, I think this is kind of interesting, and this actually comes from, believe it or not, the U.S. Supreme Court. They ruled this week on a 9-0 ranking, ruling that those who file bankruptcy, you can't avoid debt if it's incurred by someone else's fraud. So this was sort of unanimous at the Supreme Court. They ruled in the case of, there was a woman by the name of Kate Barton-Werfer, and said that, well, just because you didn't know about the debt doesn't mean that you don't have to pay it. So she had claimed that she didn't know about some debt that her partner had committed, so partner's fraud, in fact. But nonetheless, through a 9-0 ruling, she would still be responsible for this. Now, this is sort of kind of historical and really big on the financial front, especially for those of you who maybe have considered bankruptcy or have someone that you know or care about that has had to go through bankruptcy. This sort of overturns a Supreme Court decision that was made in 1885, where they found that two partners in a New York wool company were liable for the debt due to fraudulent claims of a third party. So even though they weren't guilty, but yeah, this is a big change. And so this will make a big ruling going forward for those who have to go through bankruptcy. So I guess you can't just say I didn't know. Like this is just gives you another reason to really pay attention to your partner or your significant other, and maybe the financial decisions that that person makes. I imagine that would be the same like in a business relationship too, Greg. I mean, wouldn't you think like you would need to know, like you would have to kind of keep track of your bank accounts and credit and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Because I mean, it's easy for things to happen that you're unaware of. I'll just kind of say that, like, yeah, definitely you want to keep track of what everybody is doing, at least have it kind of centrally located where everybody has access to the information. That would be my recommendation on that, as far as knowing what's going on in there, because, you know, there's shady stuff that can happen, and fraud can be all around. Unfortunately, that's just kind of part of what happens. So yeah, I think my policy is always just upfront, be, you know, clarity with whoever you're partnering with.
Yeah, that's what I did with my husband before we got married. I was like, we need to put down the FICO scores, credit report. We need everything on the table, right? Before you walk down the aisle. Yeah, whether good or bad, have a discussion.
Whatever.
You got to get comfortable talking about money. And maybe you can talk it over a cup of Starbucks. And in fact, Greg, this is something I wanted to share with you, because this came on business news, very official business news today, that Starbucks is introducing a new line of beverages, and get this, with a scoop of extra virgin olive oil. So
that is not what I expected you to say.
I know, right? So this is like, so yeah, Starbucks is going to be making these new drinks, and they're going to include extra virgin olive oil in its cafes in Italy this week. And if it does well, it could go to other markets as well. It could come to the United States even. But they're saying that, you know, by adding this extra spoonful of oil, it's going to add about 120 calories in total to your coffee. But they're saying like they think that this is going to be a big thing. They're going to name this thing called Olido, I think it is. I know, Sadiq. I can't see you, Sadiq, but I'm guessing you're like, And Joshua's probably like, interesting. But let me know in comments what you think about this. So saying that olive oil is not just an ingredient, but they were making it a very prominent feature of this drink. In fact, some of the drinks will even have a slippery sheen of oil visible in the cup, in fact. So I guess what happened was, you know, the team at Starbucks went to visit Italy. They learned about how, you know, a lot of people are adding Howard Schultz, in fact, which is the former CEO of Starbucks, met with the olive oil producer and in Italy, and was so inspired by this olive oil that they thought that they should add this to coffee and different beverages. So there's going to be like 12 different options for this line. And they're going to test it out in Italy, see how this does. And they're not going to mention about the health benefits. They're just going to simply put it out there. So they're saying, well, the Starbucks is saying, well, the biggest risk that they see is whether that not these beverages will deliver on taste. Now, I'm curious, Greg, what you think about this, because someone who had written about this has actually tasted it, and they said it wasn't for them. They felt like the oil was too heavy, and even after they finished their beverage, they could still taste that oily, like neutral oiliness in their mouth.
Yeah. I mean, I like olive oil. Don't get me wrong. I think olive oil is great when I'm eating Italian food, but putting it in coffee just sounds really strange to me. That just doesn't seem like something I wouldn't want, like you mentioned, that oily, like kind of texture. That's not something I want to drink. You know, I wouldn't like that kind of like coating that you would probably get after that. that I don't feel like the flavoring would work very well. That just seems really strange to me.
It seems really strange, but I think it's sort of like in that same vein where they're really mentioning that, now that their studies have shown that coffee has some of the health benefits, right?
Yeah,
And like, Sadiq is also mentioning that olive oil is good for your heart. Sadiq is saying that here. And
for
it's
sure.
always raining and saying, yeah, it doesn't sound good, but maybe they're trying to paint Starbucks as healthy coffee, and maybe this is sort of that segue because they mention like certain places were adding stuff like turmeric and other things like this, but olive oils very very
Yeah,
interesting. I'm curious. I mean, I don't drink coffee, but
yeah.
like,
I mean, I've got my coffee right here, and I can tell you, and I've also got olive oil upstairs, but I don't feel like going and putting a shot into it right now of olive oil. I mean, I guess I could. We could try that out, but I don't think it's
we,
going to taste
we
that
might
good.
have to have you do it one day just to like tell us how that would work, right?
And
I know, I mean, because like you think about like where you're at, Oregon, Seattle. That's like you guys are like the heart of coffee. So I feel like if there's gonna be a coffee connoisseur, it'd be you, Greg.
I mean, I do like coffee. This is true. I'm not quite as much of a connoisseur as some people, but I can say that, I'll go for a cappuccino or something like that, something pretty basic. But olive oil, I don't know. I don't know that. I guess I'll try it once. I would try it once
Try it once,
just to
right?
see.
Sadiq
But
is saying it's part of this Mediterranean diet type of thing that
yeah, it's just, I mean, like I said, I love olive oil, and I think it's great on so many things. Just
good on
I don't
toast.
know about drinking it. Just straight up drinking drinking it with coffee.
Yeah,
I don't know. It
yeah.
seems weird to me.
It does seem weird, but I want to hear about this rumor. This is,
Oh
or
yeah.
is that what we're going to start with? Because I'm curious about what you're going to share with us. Say,
Well, I've got the rumors, and you know what? Yeah, we can probably start with the rumors actually, and go from
up to
there.
you.
Let's do that if that works. So we can go to the Apple rumors. So let's talk about this. Apple
Ooh,
update rumors. There's always new things going on, and this has to do with the Apple Watch, though, and talking about the medical side of things that they are working on with that. So if you follow everything with Apple, you know that the health tech is really where they want to go with a lot of their products, and they've done that to a big extent with the iPhone and with the Apple Watch, especially, monitoring your heart rate. They've got the emergency calls they can make. They can let you know if something's going wrong, measure your gait, like all that stuff. But the one kind of, the white whale that they've really been wanting to do is to be able to monitor glucose levels in your blood without having to actually do the pinprick. So this is
wow.
for people who are diabetic, or even potentially pre-diabetic is where they could see this going. So the report's coming out that I think it's Bloomberg actually who had this. So this isn't coming from Apple, but this is a verified report that they've had a breakthrough, I guess, in that tech in
Wow.
trying to figure out how to do this. And really it comes down to the idea of the watch itself being able to essentially see under your skin, see into, and this is where we get into some medical technical diagnoses that I'm not well versed in, but essentially going into the capillaries. And I guess that's where you can read where the glucose levels are. Somebody could probably correct me on that if you're a doctor, but that's the technology anyway, is to see under the skin, scan that, be able to make a diagnosis and let you know what your levels are at and if you need insulin. That kind of tech to me is just amazing. This is what tech is best at, as far as I'm concerned, is making life easier for people who have any kind of a medical or health issue. And this is pretty cool. So they've made that breakthrough, for it's not ready to come to market yet. So let me just say that they've got to scale it down, but still a huge breakthrough over a bunch of studies and tests that they've done with people, and then comparing it to other, actual pinprick tests. And okay, I guess it's coming out to where it's pretty much on par. So it sounds like they've really, kind of cracked the code on this. And then the other part of it too was, even getting to the level where if you're wearing an Apple Watch, it might be able to tell you if you maybe are pre-diabetic or there's some issues going on, and just really give you more information about your health. I love this. I love hearing about this. This is one that's been talked about for years. So yeah, not there yet, but it sounds like in the near future, this could be a feature that you could get with your Apple Watch. And I think that's great.
I
That's
love this story, Greg.
Yeah.
I did do some research on this. My dad was diabetic, and I know one of the pain points was always having to test blood, right? Like if
Yeah.
you ate this? Did this trigger this happen? And I did notice that there was a technology out there already that where there's like a watch or something that would sort of inflate to get the reading, but to have someone at the level of Apple to be able to scan and see beneath the skin,
Yeah.
when Apple does it, that's when the game changing occurs. So this is super, super exciting. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing this, Greg.
Yeah, I think it's really fascinating, that kind of stuff, that kind of tech. And I've got friends who are diabetic, and yeah, it's a pain, or you have to have the monitor that's always on
Mhm,
there. So there's something that would just make life easier for people and provide
mhm.
more health information right off the bat. So that was a cool rumor. I just wanted to bring that one out there. Just, well, not a rumor, really, just kind of an update
We
about some of
love
their
it.
testing.
Yeah.
So we've got that one. Let's go to something. This one is not as important to your health, but it may be important for fashion. So this is another patent for the Apple Watch that has been revealed, where they are working on bands. That's just kind of a picture of one that they have there that would change color based on however either what you're wearing, or you could completely control it. So it's
How cute.
essentially making a band that would be completely with fibers, with different kinds of electrodes embedded within it, to where you could change the color on them. I mean, that seems like a no-brainer, but it's not really there yet for the Apple Watch. So I think that's a pretty cool addition to add on. That would be something. Would you be interested in that?
That'd be so fun. I guess it depends on the cost, right? But I do think
Yeah.
that especially with the next generation, like millennials and Gen Z, it's all
Yeah.
about that customization, right? To be
Yeah.
able to reflect their personality. And if they make this cost effective and super easy, what a fun thing. Apple, we're proud of you. First it's health and now something fun. We need that yin and yang balance, right, Greg?
Right. You need a little bit of both. So this is
I
this
love
is
it.
the patent. So
I
that's
think
been
this
filed.
is going to move Craig over to the Apple Watch too.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I've already gone to the MacBook. It's baby steps for me on that. It's slowly pulling me in. But that was one anyway on that fashion side of things that I thought was pretty cool. And now the other stuff that I've got, it's just kind of a little bit lighter, but well, I guess that was pretty light right there. But talking about another thing that came out from Mercedes-Benz and changing the inside of the car and how your experience is going to be driving. Now we know, panels are all the rage. Like a lot of cars have those. Of course, you got Tesla with their end, but really big panels across the front is where things are going digitally. And now Mercedes is talking about how their next line is going to be, and they put out some images of this. This is going to be in their best-selling one, which is the let's see, I'll have to figure out which one this is. The 2024 E-Class. It's the E-Class. So they're having this. Yeah, there it is. Thank you. The super screen that's going to be on there. So they're going to have two different screens, one for obviously for the driver that's going to have all the information that you need, and then a separate one actually for the passenger. Everything's going to be minimalist as far as it's digital buttons that you can press, control. You can customize some of that lighting in there. But the things that they're adding in, I thought were pretty interesting and just kind of shows where we're at. TikTok is going to be an app that it comes with. Zoom will be just embedded with it as well. You'll have a selfie camera, so that you can actually, I guess, film your TikToks while you're driving, or be in your Zoom meeting while you're driving. I'm not sure how I feel about that. That seems like a little bit dangerous, but I guess if people are going to be doing it anyway, if they're doing it on their phone, might as well have it embedded there into the panel. So yeah, it looks pretty cool. Taking a look at right.
So cool.
Yeah. I like the look of it. I like the idea of having more things embedded in there. Yeah, improved voice recognition, integrated TikTok and Zoom, smart lighting, a bunch of different features. And these are all going to come standard, I believe, with this new one. So this is kind of where we're heading with our vehicles.
You know what's really interesting about this, Greg? I gotta make a note, and I know Sadiq is probably realizing this too, is did you notice how they went with TikTok versus YouTube? Like just a very obvious slap in Google's face here.
Yeah.
Like you're giving a Zoom, you're giving Mercedes is like definitely not on the Google train here.
Yeah. I did think that was strange. Yeah. TikTok is the one that you're going for, that you're really making that embedded. Now you might be able to add in some other apps on there, maybe that can be designed for it, but that's what they're going for to start off with.
So how does the transportation authority feel about us watching TikToks?
Yeah, I imagine people are not going to be are going to be maybe there's controls where if you're driving you can't use it, but I didn't see anything about that. Like that seems like a recipe for disaster
It
to
does. It's
me.
really
But
distracting.
TikTok's distracting enough, or
Yeah.
reels or whatever it is that you're watching. I mean, it's easy to get sucked in. Can you imagine driving? It's just like every 20 seconds you have something new popping up. I mean, seems like that's not a safe way to go about it. Not until we have full autonomous cars. If we have fully
Maybe,
autonomous cars, then fine. But
yeah, maybe this is that. I mean, I'm sure that, well, I don't know. Like, how do you feel about Zoom? I guess Zoom could be good. I guess I would do Zoom if it was audio only because that'd be no different than hands-free phone, right?
that's true. Yeah. Yeah. I suppose that would work out. That would
Yeah,
work
that'd
out for
work.
that side of things. But yeah, just kind of interesting seeing where that's going. So that's Mercedes coming out with their new lineup there for everything coming into the car. And panels, every vehicle is going to be like this eventually, where it's just all panels. So yeah, that's kind of where we're heading with that. But I thought that was kind of fascinating that that's going to be the standard. So that's not even going to be the upgrade. That's the standard that they're going to be having for that E-Class. So we have that. And then I've got one other thing here for this week. I have a light week. Wanted to keep it light. There's some heavier things in the news that you can find other places. Let's talk about something, though, that was pretty cool. So if you follow the NBA, the All-Star game was last weekend. And one thing that happened was a tech presentation for the NBA, and that happened on Friday. So that doesn't get as much press as, the 3-point contest or the dunk contest. This is for kind of the people who are fascinated with the tech side of things. And the NBA app itself has had a lot of upgrades that have happened over the last really year or so. Part of when I went with Microsoft to Amsterdam, it was actually kind of talking about some of this stuff. And this was one of the things that we were covering. Looks like my camera just went out. Let me turn that back on here. Whoops, wrong camera. Sorry, everybody.
Different
Of course,
view.
this is happening to me right now as I'm okay. We'll get that squared away. Well, I'll look right in here. So there we are. See, I've got my MacBook laptop cam going for me.
It's nice and clear. See, Max?
It's nice and clear. It is. It's working. So I'll give it that. So yeah, but one of the things with the app is that you will soon be able to scan yourself into a game.
Oh,
And
fun.
yeah, so they demonstrated this. That's Adam Silver, the commissioner. Ahmad Rashad's up there, and they kind of demonstrated it where they were able to take the app and you do like a 3D scan.
I think Greg is saying you can do a 3D scan of the person and then they'll like take a picture of you or whatnot. And then I'm thinking he's going to say, put you into the game as if you were there. I don't know. But let's see. Let me look at the article real quick. Unfortunately, yeah. So it looks like they're doing a scan, and then like you can sort of feel like you're in the game, which is really cool. What I think would be interesting about this too is, um, will this make it so? I think this is going to be more inclusive, right? So people that normally wouldn't be at a game, maybe because of distance or because of price, but now you're included. So you can actually make this 3D imagery. I think this is going to be the beginning that what NBA is showing us now. And perhaps in the future, this technology will be included in like concerts and other like museums. You can like I guess use AI to place you in a new place. Very cool, Greg. Hopefully I'll be back. But I'm guessing that's what it is. And if you find out to be not the case and you're watching us, definitely let me know. I would love to hear this. But I think, we're seeing a lot of these trends with AI. And in fact, we're going to be doing a topic on my tweet chat pretty soon on AI. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely follow around. I see Greg is back, so he can probably tell me whether or not I was right, Greg. I actually was telling them, I was thinking what this meant is they would find this imagery and you'd be able to put yourself into the game.
Yes, and sorry about that. So Firefox doesn't like me right now. So as much as I was just talking about my MacBook, now I don't know. Now I'm hesitant.
Oh,
At least with Firefox. All right, so yeah, so you scan yourself. Yeah, you do a 3D scan, and then you put you in, and essentially they superimpose you over an actual NBA player. So they showed it there. I think it was Taylor Horton Tucker's where they put him over, but you would see yourself basically doing the actions of whoever the NBA player is, or you could scan one of your friends in, somebody's doing a dunk, a 3-point. It could be your face on there doing it. It's kind of a silly thing, but it seems like it would be a lot of fun to just do that. I mean, clearly not necessary, but it's a different way of interacting with the game and finding some different ways to interact with that content, have a good time with it. And I thought that was a pretty cool addition that they're adding on there. I think it'd be fun.
I think it's a smart way for them to get more people to download their app, right?
Yeah.
But I wonder if like it hasn't have enough pizzazz to keep them on it. So I'm guessing other parts of the app are really exciting. And I know, Greg, this is sort of your background. I know you were a big like sports reporter for a long time, right?
Yeah. I worked for the Portland Trailblazers. So I did some reporting for them for about 3 years at a show there called Sportlandia. Myself and Sarah Dillon. So, got to work in puns. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I definitely worked with the NBA quite a bit on that end of sides things, at least as far as reporting. But you're right. There is more though that's coming into the app that besides that. So there's also going to be some additions in watching some games. You're going to have the option to maybe watch it with like an NBA influencer who could be doing the reporting or the commentary on it. So different kinds of streams as far as what you can hear rather than even just the traditional announcers. You can get like even the in-studio broadcasts or the in-house broadcasts. And even right now, sometimes you can do that, which is a lot of fun actually watching games that way because you get to see what the the in-stadium entertainment is in, say, Memphis, something you would never see unless you're at that game. That's kind of a cool feature. And on top of that, they're going to have some different ways to interact with the games. They said there's going to you'll be able to watch the game in a virtual setting. So I don't know if that means like taking the game and like the game is placed in the middle of a desert or something. I'm not sure how that's going to work or what that adds to the experience, but just, something else, something kind of crazy with it. And there's a bunch of things on the way through the NBA app. So I would recommend, trying some of these things out if you want to. And this one's not in there yet, so it's still on the way. Maybe it won't be here for this season. I'm not sure, but it's on the way to where you'll be able to do that scanning thing.
It's fun to see like these companies and organizations like pushing the envelope, right? It's fun to see like Apple's trying this, Mercedes trying this, and now the NBA trying something new. I mean, very cool. And instead of just sitting back and hoping that, and I like how they're sort of taking that chance because with this app, right? I mean, based on what you've shared so far, if it was only this, it'd probably fall a little bit flat. But it's nice that they're still taking that first step and trying to, capture more eyeball interest and seeing where people take it.
Yeah, trying to adapt, to that user experience as far as, what it's like interacting with the game. And that's to their credit. You're right. I mean, this by itself may not be the hugest, push to get everybody on there, but it's one thing of a bunch. And at least they're willing to try some of these things out and just be like, hey, here's something. Let us know if you like this or not. I like that, kind of pushing the envelope.
Yes, and Sadiq, Greg, was saying that there's a similar app that he's seen that does it. So maybe the technology is not new, but I think it's really fun to see the NBA doing this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't like this camera angle on myself, but that's all I'm going to say about that. But yes,
it looks like you're being sponsored by Sure. I'm just going to.
I know it really does. Yeah, Sure. I'm open for sponsorship, by the way. So that is fine. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. Just seeing where it's going to go. So different experiences, different user experiences coming in there.
Very cool.
That's kind of what I had for this week. Just I want to pick some of the more fun things to talk about.
I love it. This is what we like to hear. I love the rumors. I love that you share what the car. I'm not sure about the whole TikTok thing. I'm not sure about olive oil in Starbucks, but prove me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see maybe olive oil in something else, but
right. Olive oil ice cream. That works.
That would be great. I think olive and ice cream would be really yummy, but I'm not sure how it would solidify, but yeah, that's great.
Yeah. I don't know about coffee though. I'm not so sure about this. I guess I'll have to try it though.
That's like, to me, it would be like hot chocolate with olive oil.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
That doesn't sound good to me, but what do I know? Maybe the Italians figured it out. So
maybe. Amazing, Greg. Thank you so much for that. That's so great.
Yeah. And thanks everybody for tuning in too. We really appreciate you joining us here every week. Interacting. I love people commenting. Thank you so much, for letting us know what you think about everything and your thoughts on all of this. This is part of why this show is so much fun every single week doing this. Just talking with everybody and seeing people share the show and comment, all of that. We really, really appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you so much for everything that you do. And then, and with that, I guess it's a wrap. We will see you next week. And thank you so much for your time.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.